Today is the 11th December 2023. We will report the effort we made considering the complementary architecture required on West and East to face the problem as pandemic mobilization of crime and criminals from institutional and state power. It's according with things we are supposed to do, we are moving on time. The architecture for rational review 2014-2023, the institutional crime in blazing act by power misuse that only goes inside the judicial and institutional decisions require to be made by chairs. Today is Monday. We will have this model in other ways using the Venn diagram. Here we will use an econometric model and a regression with a matrix with a chart that allow you to do the same regression. It's three different pathways, but will carry to the same goal, because indeed we are talking about the same criminal offenders that are holding the power at the same institutions. We will have in mind that the consumer law in Brazil has quite clear as reference that the consumer on Article 6 has some basic rights. When you take a look at the guarantee Article 5 at the Constitution, you observe that is applied to Brazilian and foreigners, even as a resident for a period as a tourist in Brazil, and it's especially observed to be noticed at the consumer relation. If you are a tourist of Argentina, America or Europe, buying something here and it's hot and you got contaminated, you probably had your rights as consumer violated. It's the basic rights are on Article 6, and the clause number 8 is that you must have the easy way to present the proof. But since who you receive the proof is the offender, it will never happen. It's my case. In the same way, you check that the Article 10 has clear that you must have the public service properly made, but we have corruption and nepotism running this game, and you know the game they are playing and who are the players by signed orders complained in the past, orally made on current time, to do the evasive behavior in the moment you present the reason that will be written by someone will write the reason and will do the adjustment by the needs you have. Brazil signed the Universal Agreement of Human Rights, recognized the International Criminal Court, but do not accomplish such basic and simple rights affecting the consumers, affecting the individuals, affecting the family basis of society, stealing the heritage and all other things by the misuse of power, and blocking the legacy of values as transference, not only financial or economic, but also moral values, destroying the culture, the society, and the future of we all. It's quite clear, at least on my humble sides, that Brazil is against that mankind, since mankind do not accomplish with Brazilian peers criminal purpose organized and with action from deep inside of institution and state in solidarity by the current complaint faced as power misusers. We will observe that I have my private living. My private living carry also the space of things and interests we have. We have, let's suppose, 4 groups, 4 persons inside this space. You try to hurt my field of interest to get me, but you couldn't. So you decided to hurt the interest of the people on it, also the interest of them all, that allowed you to set the misperception of them all, and by inference you put this on me. Since 2014, 2023 complaint events started on 1999, right? We will observe that since I have on my field of interest the NATO, the OECD, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, when I complained in 2014, the pandemic mobilization of crime, as a systemic mobilization of crime in Brazil combined with all areas by corruption, we will have a big problem in the way we are having today. We present the case as functional corruption, functional and crimes related as period. Functional corruption and institutional and state crime related as period. The international corruption, they all got combined as the trust scam, that considering the frequency up to 197 states, we will have the pandemic mobilization of crimes. For criminal purpose, we could prove this, all sourced in this area here, that is my space, that you can't violate as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, but you did. So I decided to put you all inside something, which is a financial paycheck from my space, covering you all that hurt my basic rights and guarantees, distributed as corruption and crimes, functional corruption at institutions, states and crime, the international corruption of states and institutions with international action as local criminal activity or misconduct in Brazil, presented as trust to the antitrust justice, and as pandemic mobilization of crime by criminal misuse of state and institutional power to the International Criminal Court. Right? Nothing new down here. And you must face the consequence by the misconduct and crimes that has no excuses. Then we will present yesterday on Risk Report 2023 Trace, December.blogspot.com, a workflow very simple to call the legitimacy and confirm the Interpol as international police, especially on counterfeit, by the fake records on decision, even orally made, to set the gap and present the argument, right, by the written by someone, and after you do the adjustment needed to your criminal activity. We will check that as third interest related, we have the NATO and the OECD. We claim the rights as requested by the Guarantee 33, Article 5, considering the European Community, especially Portugal and USA. Considering this project, biodata taxa are totally accord with the law, and the expression of rights and guarantees blocked, including the freedom of thoughts, the freedom of her, not even in Brazil, but beyond, especially on premises of other society. Its cultural destruction in the same way, if it was a preamble and a premise of that society, that is the expression of the history of that people. And of course that the criminal offenders has no courage to assume nothing made down here. We had to move a tremendous architecture of security and defense and do the development under ultimate threats to put things straight again, calling the responsibility of them all, and no consequence valid and affordable, regressed from institutions and states until the chairs doing the decision cowardly made without excuse as criminal activity currently in Blazing Act. There are no excuses to do not apply the consequence against them all, put them all out as dismiss list or dismiss order, even the if the dismissal list didn't got made. We will observe that I will have the United States and Europe, and then they will do the request. We will observe that you have the international police, the OECD, and the NATO acting in the same way. We will observe that we decided to have that they will present the report they do as European Community and Portugal here in the same way, and they all will be reported by the BOG as a channel with Asia. This kind of thing, considering the two reports that you will have, plus the BOG as information, A and B will give me the alpha, the BOG as beta. Will allow me to raise the operations by their needs, considering the international police counterfeit, the OECD corruption and bribery, the NATO, the paramilitary activity and threats, contamination, all other things. USA and European Union, they have a lot of things and a plenty reason to do not be out. And this kind of architecture has estimated 40 trillion interest. The violation of you did of my right is also economic espionage, 12 billions. Simple to get. This called complaint, part of compliance as audit, governance, risk and compliance, to do the administration of the risks presented at the chair level from institutions and states against my basic rights and my guarantees, especially to do the reason and thoughts and the nature of things I do. If I'm doing the optimization of IBM Kubernetes, for instance, or the IBM database Sigma, or something pro bono, just to express, my empathy with the company as a 100-year company, or the AT&T. You observe that when you do the interference at the private living, the first thing you and install is the instrument to do the interconnected, and you must always be near by the area by remote access, especially if you do the fresh start, for instance, once in a while. It implies that my field of activity put you around me, and I put you inside the area of interest. If you are at the public service, Article 74 Brazil integrated, kept since 2014, with aggression since 1999, systematically made, and annual budget proven. Also you, as criminal offenders, you all, 23 item 1, violating your own constitution, and the conformance of international agreements, especially the nature of the Human Rights Declaration. By this, we complain as, right, the compensation with an ambition inside by the interests represented, that indeed are a previous demonstration about my personality as human being, right? I do not get along with criminals, and I do not support none of them. I did this all by myself to keep who I am. No person deserves to be turned into a criminal by the faith hands, not hands not in good faith of criminals at the use of power. Have a great week. By this doing the regression, you have the chance, and indeed you have the conviction of you all, of them all at the crime system as a threat against we all, and we call one more time that it's notorious facts. No excuse to do not have the conclusion as soon as possible, considering the petition and the accusations and the compensation as complained. Have a great day.